around and could tell some stories about Coppell, so he tapped me. So by a show of hands in the room, who knew where Coppell was in 1960? Anybody? My wife. Anybody else? That doesn't surprise me. So I did have the opportunity to serve in this community for a long time. I was first fire chief in the early 90s, then deputy city manager, became the city manager, and retired 7 years ago. And Mike has filled my shoes and then some. It's been a really good thing to keep watching what goes on in our community. And yes, I am that bad penny that just keeps showing up. So you get to deal with that too. So when the mayor asked, he said, well, why me? And this is what he said, well, you're one of the oldest residents who has lived in Coppell for many years. So even though I was honored to accept, I think it wasn't very long ago that I was the young guy in the room. In fact, my mind is still there, my knees and my hips and everything, don't want to go there anymore. The mayor's response is true. I, like my father, we are lifers in Coppell. I was born and raised in Coppell. It doesn't make me special, it doesn't make me right. It gives me perspective on a community that y'all have come to today. How many of you reside in Coppell? A good handful. So you're going to know what I'm talking about. I'm not going to talk very long. But Coppell is a special place. We raised our family here, our kids here. We're now raising their kids here when they let us. So Coppell has long been a place that's been near and dear to our hearts. It's a community that just wants to do things. So what does it have to do with the symphony? What do you want to know? Why does this have to do with anything to do with the symphony? It's from this point of gratitude, I welcome you here today to my home, to some of your homes, your adopted homes. It's a great place to be. It didn't start out as all that in a bag of chips back in the day. We were a really small, agrarian community, pig farms, dairies. Where we're sitting today was a cotton field when I was a kid growing up. There was a gin just across Coppell Road, a big cotton gin there. So if you can't remember that, you wouldn't believe that was the case, but that was the case. Very small town. But it's always been known to be a great place to raise a family. It's been a draw for people to raise families, and it continues to be that today. I used to be asked all the time when I would tell someone I was from Coppell, well, where's that? And I would tell them, and some of those people were from Irving. So it's been an interesting thing to grow up here. But ultimately, the line from Field of Dreams, if you build it, they will come. Well, they built it, we continue to build it, and they're coming, you're coming. Welcome to our community. It's a great place to be. It can be no more applicable anywhere but here. If we had obliged the people that said, as we grew, close the door behind me, I don't want any more growth, by the show of hands a while ago, most of you wouldn't be in the room today. This building wouldn't be here today because there would be no need for this building to be here today. But we were a community of people with a vision, a community of people that didn't accept good enough's good enough. Good enough was never good enough. Excellence is what we saw, and excellence is what we did. So we continue to build the community today. This facility is proof of that. Again, there would be no need for this. There would be no need for this if there were not a premium placed on the arts in our community. Music has always been an important role in my life. It can be that for you too. I remember telling the mayor and the council when we started planning this facility, it probably needs to be bigger than you think, and it will most likely cost more than you're planning on spending in that moment. Well, it is, and it did. It's much bigger than it was going to be, and it cost more than it was going to cost. But our community is reaping the benefits of that today. So finally, as I said, music can play a special role. We've already heard that today. It can move you. It can take you places. It can make you reminisce. It can do all kinds of things in your soul. So let that continue to be the case. So without further ado, it's my great pleasure to introduce the composer who has taken the history of Coppell and put it to music. Please help me welcome Kevin Sluder as he explains his vision of Coppell.
Hello, everyone. When they first reached out to me back in, I believe it was September, I got to work pretty quickly. I got access to all the sound files that were sent to me. I remember one stuck out, a woman playing piano, singing a song, a young man playing trombone, and I heard that piano, I sat down on the piano, which is not my primary instrument. You don't really want to hear me play it, but I sat down and some of the first ideas started happening. And over a couple of months, I put together 20 different ideas, and 10 of which ended up getting thrown out, and started just piecing everything together, and finally finished it up around February, early March. And it's going to sound kind of like 7 or 8 or 9 different pieces kind of strung together, okay? And ended up labeling all the sections about the different historical times and everything that led to Coppell. And this was actually one of my first times composing for full orchestra. So I am a string teacher by trade and write mostly for string orchestra, so I had a blast getting to write all the wind parts. And when I came to work with them a few weeks ago, they were very gracious with me and let me know when things didn't work quite how I thought they were going to work out. And so I now know more things for the future too. But without further ado, I hope you enjoy the piece.